And we are back. Hello everyone. So I have not actually done a tips and tricks video like this before, but I've watched several videos from random YouTubers in the past, and a lot of the time it doesn't translate to me as an average Apex Legends player. I am not elite by any means, I am not pro, and some of this stuff just doesn't make sense to me. And most of us honestly don't have thousands of hours in and don't play every single day for a living. I play about twice a week, so I'm about as average as it comes. So these are tips and tricks for the average Apex Legends player who might be pretty new or just not great and wants to get a bit better. And the video you see playing in the background is just some random gameplay, so it doesn't really associate with anything I'm about to say. So let's just get into it. Tip 1, move. Seems obvious not to make a still standing target all the time, right? The more you move, making a stationary target, it becomes the harder you are to track and hit for the enemies. Okay, so always constantly moving, and that goes for every aspect of the game. Going from location to location, the faster you move, putting your weapon away makes you move a little faster, sliding makes you move faster. When you're in a fight, you should always constantly be moving, jumping, crouching, running. Sitting there as a immobile target makes you easier to shoot, so you should be moving while you're fighting. While you're looting, don't just stand around and debate which guns you want. Just grab and go. If you're at a death box for more than, say, 3 to 5 seconds, somebody probably can either see you or heard that gunfight and they're on their way anyway. So you should have an internal clock going when you're looting. After a few seconds, just move on. You need to be able to outflank and outmaneuver any opposing team. So try using Pathfinder and learn how to play a bit more vertical. Move, move, move. Force yourself to use Octane and just use that stim all the time. Get used to that speed, because the more aggressive you push in fights and public matches, the more successful you'll be. Tip 2, know your abilities and actually use them. Doesn't matter who you are, you should know that Legend's passive, tactical, and ultimate abilities, and you should know how and when to use them. It's annoying having a lifeline on your team who never drops their healing drone for themselves or their teammates, especially when you have no health after a fight and no meds on you to heal. I've talked to random lifelines and say, hey, can you heal? Or, give them the old teabag up and down action type thing, and they just never drop it. Or a Crypto who plays the whole game without deploying his drone. Or a Gibraltar who doesn't drop their dome in a fight over a down teammate. Or a Watson who doesn't set up fences, and so on and so forth. Learn each Legend's ability and use them, probably a lot more than what you're currently using. The tactical abilities are always misused. Tip 3, speed up your looting. So already kind of mentioned this, but you should stop looting after 1 or 2 locations when you land. Afterwards, after you've gone through the first location where you dropped, and maybe even the second location, the only thing you should be looting are the death boxes of people you've killed or that you stumble across, or random things that you just happen to see laying around. You shouldn't be stopping at that point. And second part to this is, while your teammates are down or right after a fight, stop looting. Always get your teammates up, and we'll get into that more. Tip 4, heal, kill, revive. So only revive down teammates if you know that you are safe to do so. Stop reviving if you hear someone or start getting shot at. It's always annoying when you win a fight and then your teammate comes over to revive you while you're down and you can hear somebody coming and they don't stop to defend you and themselves. If you are trying to get your teammates up, evade a bit to go heal yourself. Get behind cover, keeping your head down makes you a smaller target if you're getting shot at. Jump and crouch a lot. It feels a little Fortnite-esque, but it actually works. When you're healing, try to use your shields first and then your meds. And as previously mentioned, if you're finishing off a team, revive your teammates, then loot. Healing, then reviving is perfectly fine, because you probably won't be able to fight off a team if you have no health. You can maybe even loot for a second or two if you have 0 ammo, because you're not going to be able to defend yourself if you have no ammo. But if you're grabbing a ton of stuff, making weapon swaps, grabbing gun attachments, and you have a teammate or 2 down, you're being a bad teammate. Get them up, let them heal, and let them loot up as well. Tip 5, thirsting. You down an enemy and you want that kill, right? But at what cost? You need to learn how to pick and choose when you thirst those players, those down players for kills. There's no point whatsoever in just constantly thirsting down players from other teams. You don't get that kill and you only get a little bit of damage for it. There's no point in that thirst. Especially if they don't have a gold knockdown shield, you want to learn how to knock the rest of the team and get a couple kills out of that. Wiping the whole team is more important than getting one kill. And if you don't need to loot while your teammates are fighting the rest of the team, if you do need to loot while your teammates are fighting the rest of the team, make it quick. You know, only grab needed ammo and heals during fights. After the enemy team is dead, then you and your squad can loot up and get better gear if needed. But picking and choosing when to thirst enemies, if you know you're safe, they don't have any other teammates around, and it's super quiet, nobody's charging after you, and you're kind of behind cover, go ahead and thirst, because it definitely makes it harder for the other team to revive that teammate now because they have to respawn. Tip 6, be a good teammate. Okay, so this is gigantic. There are really about 100 different parts to this, but I'm just going to cover over a little bit. It's definitely easier to win in Apex Legends with good teammates. Staying near but not on top of your teammates, constantly trying to loot the same buildings is pointless. Stay in the building next to your team, okay? When you drop and you're looting, going in the same doors and trying to loot, it just kind of makes you both frustrated and neither one of you get fully quitted, okay? So looting near but not on top of. And don't ping a million things. If an enemy downs you, 2 or 3 pings where that enemy is located is more than enough. If he moves to a different spot or goes running away, ping once or twice again. But pinging non-stop makes your teammate deaf to anything else that's going around them, and then you get upset and you get salty and blame that person for not getting the kill when you were pinging, and meanwhile they can't concentrate over your annoying constant pings. And was it your fault you're down? Did you go off and pick a fight with a whole squad and now you're blaming your team that they aren't right next to you to save you from getting that finisher done on you? That's probably on you, man, for making a bad decision. And if you're dead, hang out. Maybe you can get revived. Maybe you can get your banner taken and respawned. Learn a thing or two from your team and spectate them. Help your team a little bit. Don't get salty and leave right away. If they don't get to your respawn beacon in time, that's okay. Don't get salty about it because you've done the same to your teammates. Feel free to leave at that point if you can't get respawned, but don't get toxic with your team. Ping what your teammates need. The better looted your entire squad is, the more successful you will be. Don't hoard all the good stuff. I've dropped level 4 armor for teammates who I thought were better than me, who were going off and getting a crap ton of kills in a game. Now I have a level 4 and they have a level 2. I dropped it and swapped with them because I thought they could use it a little bit better because they were just going off. Okay, and guess what? Typically that pays off. And why hoard 200 rounds of heavy ammo when you only have a wingman? You're going to use a third of that, maybe. And meanwhile, your teammate is pinging that they need heavy ammo and you're sitting on that much when you're not going to use any of it. And give them heals. If you see you have a teammate that has low health or low shields and they're not charging it up, drop some and ping it for them. The more protected and the more looted up your entire team is, the better off you are. And as mentioned, using your abilities to help your team. Every legend, with the exception of maybe Mirage, has some type of an ability that can help their team, either by protection with people like Wraith or Crypto or Caustic or Gibraltar or Bangalore. I mean, all sorts of legends have something in some way that can either maneuver their teammates around or protect them in some way. So use those. Learn how to use them. If you're being Bloodhound or Crypto, learn how to recon a bit. Learn how to play vertical. If you're playing people like Octane or Pathfinder, maneuver your team around better with people like Pathfinder or Wraith. Learn how to use those abilities. Finally, pinging effectively, or better yet, using your mic. I don't talk a ton while playing with randoms. Hell, I don't talk a ton while playing with my friends. But it's very helpful in this game just for easy and quick callouts. And just because you have a mic doesn't mean you always need to use it. Just as annoying as the non-stop pinging is a non-stop open mic. If you have music playing in the background, kids screaming, dogs barking, other conversations going on, you're getting in a fight with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, mute yourself. I had a dude send me a message after a game saying he kept telling me on his mic to go one way and I went another, and it was because at the beginning of the match I instantly muted him because he had loud music playing, and I can't hear crap with that going on. So he was very polite back and just said a simple, "Oh, my bad, bro." So just keep that in mind. Everyone can hear everything on an open mic, and even constantly talking and backseat gaming is probably something that drives me more insane than anything else, especially from dead teammates who are now salty and think that they can coach. When I can't hear an enemy jumping on my head because they won't stop talking. If you're dead or can't offer quick necessary information, shh. Let your alive teammates work and try to get you back. Tip 7, learn to use everything. There's this one thing at the very beginning of the game that you had to do and most people only did once, and that's the training grounds. So you suck at aiming and you're not comfortable with guns, go to the training grounds and use them all. Get used to every gun, the recoil, swapping guns, bullet drop-offs from guns. Learn how to shoot without aiming down sights. That's a big trick for close fights using an LMG or a shotgun, or even close combat with sniper rifles. Some of those sniper rifles make very effective close-range shotguns. Speaking of the guns, don't be so choosy with the guns, especially in the first couple minutes. You should know how to use a Mozambique and a P2020, because that's probably all you're going to find for your first fight. You're not always going to be loaded up with an R99 and a Spitfire where you drop. Deal with the teams in your area with any means and guns you have, sometimes fists, and then find better guns. Legends. It's cool to main someone, but you don't always get a pick first, and someone might pick who you like, and you're the only person that you ever play with. You should always have at least 3 legends who you are very comfortable using. Better yet, learn to use them all. And finally, being the jump master. Theoretically, you should only be jump master 33% of the time, but personally, I feel like I'm the jump master closer to about 80% of the time. So you should probably learn how to fly, glide, and locations to go, and there are videos out there on that. Don't be the person who always relinquishes at jump master. Now, I admit, I will on occasion if I'm like game 5 in and I feel like I've been the jump master 4 out of the 5 times or something, and I just get sick of it, let somebody else do it. That's cool. Or I'm sitting there on my phone and I'm trying to catch up on Instagram. I can get myself back a minute by relinquishing Jump Master. Simple tricks for new Jump Masters or new to the game is don't land in the hot zone every single time. Learning to stick to the outside or landing places that aren't named but look like they have buildings usually means a lot of success and an easy way to loot up. In the World's Edge map, a lot of the high loot areas are on the outside or in the lava areas where there are not a ton of teams that land. And don't jump in the first 2 seconds and fly straight down if you're new, because at least 2 or 3 teams are doing that exact same thing. And finally, don't wait super late and then jump and go back to some place we already passed a long time ago. The other teams have already looted up everything and they're ready to go before we even land. Okay, so that was a quick 7 tips with some added info in there. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two for those kind of average and casual players. Sorry for any ranked pros or whatever who watched this and probably wasted their time. Later.